I was never very good at playing instruments. It didn't appear that a musical or job in the industry would appear until late 90s. It was a bit of a tragedy, really, where at Roskilde Festival in 99, 2000, we were on the way to see Willie Nelson and Friends. This was on the program. We thought, well, this is kind of cool. And on the way through to that stage, Pearl Jam kicked off. Of course, on those big arena stages, there's big screens halfway down the field with the delay speakers. Eddie Vedder came on, he broke into, I don't know, Jeremy or something like that, and he dropped one knee. His vocals, he stopped singing. The band were kind of slowing down. I was like, what's going on here? The cameras panned round to the front of the stage in those first, in the mosh pit, and there was a crowd crush. They'd got it wrong with crowd protection barriers. I think 8 to 10 people died. The band were kind of in pieces. Eddie Vedder was crying. We're going, what the hell's going on here? This is bizarre. And then watching that unfold was phenomenal, whereby stage managers came out and they asked the crowd to move back on 3 steps. And I was clocking all this in and watching what the reactions were on stage, the raw energy. And then the messaging systems were still pretty analog, where they had a printing press on site in this festival. So sort of 6, 7 in the morning, there were motorbikes driving around the campground, throwing out newspapers into the tents, and then you kind of roll it, old school, roll it out, and it's got, the show must go on, we can't evacuate you all. There was a tragedy here last night. And then watching this unfold, how they managed it, the raw emotion, and they were saying tonight the Cure and Iron Maiden will headline on a different stage. And I was going, wow, look at this kind of reaction and what's going on and the raw energy and what it means to people. And that kind of reset my mind to thinking, I'm going to do this.
Any serious issues sort of approached in your songs? Because there seems to be a certain element of whimsy.
I think a lot of it is quite lighthearted, but I think in the song we performed at the Rockquest Heat, Sound of the Stars, it's not necessarily a negative thing, but it talks about like finding those people that are just like the best sort of humans. And I think the first lyric is, put down your glass, admire the art around you, because the night will be gone soon and so will our teeth, which is the first line. And it's like, just put down like whatever you're drinking or like all that terrible stuff, or actually just take a moment to like appreciate those that you're surrounded with that are actually making your life a very, very happy place, and avoiding those who don't do that.
It was new for Christchurch. It got a mixed response. What was exciting, and I guess leads into the next track we will hear, is that Bic was able to convince her manager and Sony to record her concert. So we have a recording of it, which is great.
Tell me a bit more about that.
I mean, always challenging recording a rhythm section in an orchestra, and Andre Upston was the engineer for that, who at the time I think was working for Radio New Zealand and has gone on to record and produce a number of albums for Anika Moa and a whole range of New Zealand artists. His skill and experience were really pivotal in that process. As it happened, and this is probably a bit of a trade secret that hasn't come out till now, but actually in those days they were dealing with hard drive recorders, and you'll understand what this means, Ian. But they were recording directly to disc, and they were dedicated machines, but they were temperamental at the time. It was just post ADAT, and 16 tracks failed of 32, I think. So they got half the orchestra, but that wasn't enough. So we actually had to re-record the whole session the next day, post the
vocals and all,
everything. Yeah, and
with an empty auditorium.
Yes, and with the applause and everything mixed in. Nonetheless, I think the album still stands up well.
Obviously, some of the subject matter that you guys talk about is awesome for young people. Standing up, believing in yourself, that's a big one. But the other track, which some people might know you for, is E Tufano. That's pretty hard-hitting. What sort of reactions have you had from the public?
A lady heard this song, and she was in the domestic violence as well. And the way she changed her life, turned her around, is she moved away from that area of violence and totally turned around her life around. And when we got told that it was really heart feeling, because if that song could make a person's life changed around. I feel really grateful for that song, and we believe in no more violence. Women and children are treasures and they should be treated that way. And the way we put into that song is no more in New Zealand or Aotearoa. Yeah, no more violence.
Well, for those folks who haven't heard it, I've got a special treat. This is a live recording from Garden of Sound Live. This is Twin Harmony with Moses Robbins performing E Tu Whānau.
We are your children,
Kia ora and assalamu alaikum. I'm Ian Turner, welcome to Garden of Sound. It's important that I say something about the attacks of last week. I texted one of my old colleagues who is Muslim on the evening of the attacks to see if she was alright, and she was, but 2 of her relatives had lost their lives. I found myself apologising on behalf of the whole of New Zealand. I was absolutely shocked that something like this could happen here to our Muslim brothers and sisters in the Garden City. I don't have any answers except to preach tolerance and understanding and to step out of your comfort zone once in a while and learn more about all of the wonderful people you share this city with. In fact, you may share any city in the world with.
So Andy writes a lot introspectively, but frequently he'll play me a song and I will assume he's talking about something in particular that's really personal to him, which doesn't exist. I can get upset by things that he has written because I assume they're about different things than what they are about.
And how is that resolved?
I have to go through line by line and explain what my thoughts were on each one.
Hey, not always.
Not always, but
It's great for me to kind of like figure out exactly what I was trying to say and if there were any words that were wasted or anything that I could refine. But I do intentionally write songs that can be pretty open to interpretation. So Vic hears it and hears it one way, another person will hear it as something completely different.
And all we wanted to do was see Shihad. They became Shihad, and they played at the Playroom on Pages Road. And I just begged my mum that it was like on a Sunday night or something, or even a Monday night or something. I had school the next day or whatever, and I was like, I got to go. We got to go. And she finally agreed that it was okay. And me and my friend Nathan rode our bikes to go to the show. They let us in because we knew the guys from Hammerack, because we had been these little shithead fans. And we went in there and it just blew our mind. Had like a hole open for them. It was their very first tour.
it's massive.
And we were like 13, 14, and our minds were just like blowing. And I remember my mum said I had to call her at the end of the concert to tell her that I was coming home.
On
And
the payphone, of course.
Yeah,
No
payphone,
mobiles
totally.
these days.
Payphone at Playroom at Pages Road, and I get on the phone, but I can't hear her because my ears are all. Ooh.
How important in writing or playing jazz is the shared or tacit knowledge of the individuals involved?
It's only crucial if you're new to it, I think. If we didn't have any musical groups where people were coming together from different genres, you'd never get any new genres. I think that's the crucial thing, is that we have these genre crossovers and different backgrounds crossing over. It helps to be at a similar experience level. So you could have a jazz musician who's been gigging for years and a classical musician who's been reading music and playing concerts and being conducted for years. Hopefully, if they were open-minded enough, they could easily work together just because they've had so much experience, even though those two worlds can be very different.